Welcome to another edition of Back in Shape with T. I'm Terahshea, and this is a tricks and tips for chest training video number 4. A little bit more advanced. I'm going to show you how to use the total gym and alternative exercises to get the pecs involved. As you can see, my pecs are involved with the pullover to crunch here. So we're going alternative exercises and explaining how this type of scientific shoulder conditioning and scientific back training as well as core conditioning comes into play. For example, with the pec fly, obviously I'm using all of the major pectoral muscles, but there's lots of activation in the medial rotators of the shoulders because my hands are in a neutral position, meaning the palms are facing each other. I'm activating the subscapularis. So if you have any rotator cuff issues or trying to keep a strong rotator cuff muscles going, this particular movement on the total gym is paramount. It's awesome. Okay, the pec minors come into play with the stretch and flex as well. So without further ado, take a couple seconds break and I'm going to go right into the chest press here. My hands are now in a prone position, meaning my palms are facing the ground as opposed to neutral. All right, there is slight rhythmic stabilization that I have to focus on here because the cables with the total gym move. They're free. So my body has to stabilize in a sort of a rhythm. We'll get back to that after we go for my first break, which is the jump rope. Trying to burn fat, trying to lose weight. The goal is to get down to 180 pounds from 200 pounds. I'm all the way down to 188 already. So I find little ways to keep my metabolism going. So this is quite metabolic conditioning when you add jump rope. I'm doing 50 to 100 reps before I go back for my second set. Back to the dynamic stabilization. Dynamic meaning I'm moving and the cables move slightly, so the muscles have to stabilize at my shoulders so I don't injure myself. I'm getting a lot of feedback at the acromioclavicular joint. That's the top of the shoulder bone at the top of the humerus. I'm getting so much feedback from there. So if I were to move funny or awkward, I would feel a tremendous amount of pain. But because I am stabilizing, I'm also forcing my opposing muscle groups, the muscles in the upper back, to stabilize as well because there's this slight rhythm here. So I'm getting a lot of scapulothoracic stabilization that's forced to respond during this. I go right back to my jump rope. Fat burning at the highest level for the least amount of money. Get a little jump rope right in your office, a little bit of space, and you can burn fat. I love this piece of equipment here. It's just a simple jump rope. Don't sleep on it. See, my acromioclavicular joint will tell me if my hands are too high. That's why I put my hands down at the mid portion of the chest. If I raise my arms up too high, I cause shoulder impingement. Because I have to sit up nice and tall and strong, my muscles in the core come into play. So my lower back deep stabilizers called the multifidus and the deep stabilizers of my abdominal muscles, which are called the transversus abdominis muscles, work overtime here. Not to mention that my legs are flexing. That's right, my quads and my hip flexors are helping me stay erect on this. I don't have any back support. So all of these muscles from my legs to my abdominals to my upper and mid back have to work to stabilize. Back to the jump rope. Again, I'm adding a little bit of a twist here. 50 to 100 reps. I can do a few different movements, moving in the lateral portion, trying to keep it from being just a sagittal plane. So I'm moving in multi-planes of direction, twisting transverse, side to side, lateral, and front to back sagittal plane. So multi-planar movement there. Now I'm going to a superset of lat pullovers, which, as it implies, works the upper back muscles, the latissimus dorsi. I use my deep stabilizers in my abdominal wall, just like when I do Pilates. So I scoop the belly button in toward the spine. using that transversus abdominis and the multifidus as well, in that pelvic loop. Going from there to a crunch. So I'm working that six-pack muscles. That's not the deep stabilizers, but rather the superficial muscles. The ones on top, the ones that you see as the six-pack. This lat pullover will make the latissimus dorsi, my upper back muscles work, my chest work, my intercostals work, and because I'm doing a crunch now, my six-pack muscles or the abs are working as well. This is a killer routine. And I'm going to throw in as my third exercise, because this is a tri-set, 3 sets together, the rollout with the abdominal wheel. Again, with the abdominal wheel, look at the muscles in the upper back working. My scapulothoracic spine, okay, the muscles up at the top of my back, just beneath my neck, are on fire here. The shoulders have to stabilize dynamically. My abdominals have to stabilize, and my lower back has to stabilize from being in pain. This is a super exercise. Going back to my lat pullovers now, as you can see, my triceps are also slightly active because of the full extension that I have in my arms, but my pecs are also fully engaged here. That's why this is a tricks and tips for chest, the alternative way. Normally, doing a bench press, chest press on a bench, or a machine like a Cybex hammer strength, those are what most bodybuilders use to train the chest. But as an athlete, a person who needs to have dynamic stabilization in the shoulder, if you're a puncher, if you're a thrower, like a pitcher or quarterback, or even a wide receiver, you have to be able to stabilize from the shoulder all the way through. So this becomes a much more functional piece of equipment because it gives you 3-dimensional degrees of freedom in the motion. You do not have to be trapped by a bench. Okay, same thing with using the wheel as a rollout. You do not have anything working except for the stabilizers in your back and abdominal wall to help you do this movement. Normally, if you're going to sit on a bench or a machine, the machine and the seat work to stabilize, so they take a lot of the stability work out of it. So it becomes less functional and more total muscular. This integrates function, stabilization, and muscular fatigue, the 3 things you need. And yes, my chest is working here as well. Finishing off this entire routine with 100 reps on the jump rope. I just wanted to demonstrate that if I am in a home office and I don't have a lot of space, that I could put this total gym in the corner, do my jump rope for about a half hour, get a full total integrated workout without any real worries about time, because this becomes time efficient. I'm going to finish my routine off with some powerful, explosive, plyometric push-ups, just so I can be a little bit more athletic, a little bit more explosive. I'm only doing 1 set. So thank you for watching Back in Shape with T. I hope you take notes and try this along with me.